Madam Chair, and thank you, Madam Secretary, for being here. I promise to apply a combination of Midwest nice and a little bit of my former investigative journalism background. But anyway, so interesting conversation. Thank you again for being here. So we are in the middle of a public health crisis, not just the coronavirus, but youth vaping. And my folks in education back home asked that I call it e-cigarettes, because they think vaping makes it sound nicer than it is, so I will say e-cigarettes. But the numbers that we have from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention show that back in 2011, we had 1.5% of our high schoolers were doing e-cigarettes. Now, just last year, 2019, we're at 27.5%. So about, a third of our high school students are now doing this. I mean, just alarming. That's why I call it an epidemic. At junior high and middle school, we are now at about 10.5% of our middle schoolers. So I just couldn't believe these numbers when I learned these. We did a series of roundtable discussions in my congressional district in downstate Illinois. And the one that really just alarmed me was that we had a school resource officer said that there was third graders that were doing this. Third graders. And this is easy to hide. They can put it in watches, they can put it in clothing, they can do it on these fake jump drives. So they're doing this. That's why we wrote a piece of legislation out of my office called the Resources to Prevent Youth Vaping. It is part of a bill a package of bills that we'll be voting on the floor tomorrow. And so what I wanted to ask you, I promise I'm bringing this totally into your department. Wondering if the Department of Education is coordinating with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to make sure that we have information that we can get out to our parents, make sure that we have resources that the teachers know about, that the school nurses know about, and just wondering if there's any kind of coordination going on with your department and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Thanks, Congresswoman, for that question. I know that there have been participations in task forces. I'd be happy to check on the extent to which those are happening and get back with you on that.
Okay, yeah, if you could work with our office and make sure that we are aware of this. I think it's really just a commitment on your part. We were just with Secretary Azar yesterday. But I think working together will just be absolutely critical to help address this. Again, this is a public health epidemic that is impacting our students, our children. So I think that would be great. Switch